Okay guys, so this is Pendulum Grove's PG Tips. You've seen these videos before. This is where we talk about the most common questions that we see when it comes to well-being, whether it comes to mindset, general health, your physical stuff, your mental stuff, and the stuff that we find interesting as well. So the next PG tip question that we've got that we're going to answer is what causes you to have a bad day? But obviously there probably will be a second part to that of don't just tell us what causes it, what do you then do, what actions, what do you string into to counter that?
Yeah. The main one for me, and we've had a chat about this previously, and it's when I've not taken the due diligence and the planning to make sure that I do the things that I know I need to do on a particular day. So life can throw things at us on a daily basis where you're here, you're there, you don't really know where you're going on particular days. So what's become a non-negotiable for me now is that I get up at the same time every morning to mitigate this.
Yeah.
But there will be times when a demand on me externally is very early in the morning, and it means that I can't get to the gym, I can't get out running. I use the word can't there because I'll deem that I'm already up early enough or too early to get that in beforehand. So for me, it's when life starts throwing curveballs at me, particularly in the middle of the day, and my missus will vouch for this. If I think my day is going to be unfolded in a certain way, and then that deviates, that has an impact on my mental health.
Yeah.
And the way that I just behave from then, the way I interact with people can become just different, noticeably different for the people who are close to me. So
plans and routines that we have are rigid, and they work, but as soon as we get any chaos or we get any sort of we go off route or off track, it is I get it completely. It's one of them moments where you have to try and balance and spin that plate, but it's difficult, right? If you have your gym early in the morning and then you have to do it later on at night. Interesting point on that. Do you ever feel like sometimes when you go to the gym like later on, it doesn't feel the same as it in the morning? Or it doesn't feel like it's like only half a session, like you're done at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like in the morning it feels like you started your day right. There's more effort to do that, whereas if you do it later in the day, to me anyway, it feels like it doesn't hit the same.
So I actually prefer, if you were going to offer me my last ever training session alive, I'd do it late morning or early afternoon.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that you obviously you've had more time to wake up, your core temperature's risen, which improves how much you can lift, your grip strength, etc. So I do prefer training later in the day, but going into a full day of work, family commitments, looking after the dog without having that release of energy first thing in the morning is something that I don't choose to do very often. Which is why we now like probably train in the morning, doing something more cardio based, and then training again later in the day, because you get a great session later in the day when you've got some fuel in you, you've had a couple of coffees, you've spent time with people you love, you've woke up, the back and the hips aren't quite as stiff, and then you can go and have another go at it later in the day. So planning, lack of planning, or when your plans get thrown out the window, would be what can affect me most.
Anything else on that, having a bad day, like what you then do to react to it, to build through it? Yeah,
so there's a particular toolbox that I have that I've kind of developed over the last 5-6 years in particular. So I know if I'm not feeling great, there are certain things I know I can do which will bring me back into a state that I'm more happy in and more relaxed. So first one that we just spoke about, exercise. If I get a 40-minute window in the day, that's getting used for exercise. If I'm not feeling great, if I've not trained in the morning, if I've been thrown a curveball, just that release of energy, whether it's going for a run outdoors, doing some resistance training, that's number one. Number two, something that we don't talk about too often, but I know we do it in routine, which is meditation and mindfulness. Now that can come in many forms. I enjoy reading, so in half an hour I can get through 15-20 pages of a good book without any distractions. That for me is the best way I find to carry out mindfulness. So those two in particular. Obviously I've got my dog, so I walk with the dog or a cuddle on the couch with the dog. or the misses, whichever's available at the time, they are my top 3, where if I'm not having a great day, I know, and I go into these activities consciously knowing, okay, you're doing that thing now, this is going to make you feel better, and even just as soon as I've started any of those activities, I know the end product's coming, so it means that I can enjoy them then. So they'd be my top 3 to turn things around. How about yourself?
I think one of the things just to really hammer home is not to panic when you have a bad day. I think one of the pitfalls of whatever you choose to do for your mindset, for your overall health, is sometimes the picture is painted that this is the solution for all your problems. It's going to take all your problems away. Whether you're the fittest person, whether you meditate, you do yoga, and you're amazing at it, and you're disciplined with it every single day, you need to accept that you're going to have a bad day at some point. And no matter, but that shouldn't make you panic and think, I need to stop doing that and I need to change that. There's different circumstances that can make us have a bad day. You can miss your alarm in the morning, you miss your early workout, or something happens in your work day, you have a row with the missus, something external happens that we can't control, and that's always going to happen. The thing that we can control is our reaction to it. So if that bad day is that external thing that happens, it's your control, it's your reaction, and there's a gap between that. And you do have a choice. It's your own free will to either roll with it or actually, you know what, I'm going to let it get the better of me today. And again, we're all perfect, right? So we're not perfect. It's the wrong thing to say, but none of us are perfect. It's going to happen to us all. So for me, it's not to panic when it happens, and it's not to think that all that stuff that you've been doing is a waste. It definitely isn't. It allows you to maybe readjust and reset what's going on. And also as well, if you invest a lot of time into whatever your passion is, again, whether it's exercise, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, there needs to be a moment where that's tested. Does it work? It's going to work when you've got a nice bank holiday weekend and you've got loads of time off, but also when you're really in that situation that's not too nice, does it work then? And then, that's the only thing I'd caveat with that is having a plan B. So we have all this, and it's something we talk about in one of the courses that we deliver, is that on an ideal day, what do you do to look after yourself, to make sure that you're at your optimum? But when that chaos comes in, when you have that bad day, stripping away all that stuff that's maybe a nice thing to have, what are the things that you must do? Think about yourself needing an instruction manual to operate. If you buy a new phone, you buy a new computer, it will have instructions. You must follow this to operate that system. Think about yourself in that way. What are the things that you must do? Not the nice things to have. We know we'd love to be up every morning doing cold water or a run or vice versa, whatever order you do it in, and then jump into doing some really meaningful work. But not every day is going to be like that. It's what the things that you must do. But everyone's going to have bad days. Doesn't mean that what you've been doing is wrong. It just happens to us all. But we do have a choice what we do with it. Does that bad day then turn into a bad week, bad month, and then you start going down a slippery slope, or is it just an opportunity to reset and reevaluate where you are? Right, mate, PG tips done. Cheers.